What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the top 5 best players per position. So we're going to run through, we're going to go over quite a few of them to see who you'd recommend. We're obviously not going to spend far too much time on keepers, as predominantly they are very much subject to your opinion. But my kind of 5 favourites, I'd go Checkers 1, I would look at Schmeichel, I would have to look at Armand van der Sar if I can find him at the 92s. He, again, could do with a massive upgrade, but he definitely has got to be up there. Then it gets a little bit tricky because I do think Martinez puts himself in that position. And then you've got the likes of Pickford, Casillas, then you've got Courtois, Oblak to some extent. I think Courtois has more of a shout, and even Alisson at the end of that as well. Donnarumma could have done with a footies, but I think if I was looking between them, I would probably say them 5 would be my favourite out of the group of them. Then we move into right backs. Right backs is where we kind of get a bit more explaining into it. Now, the best one's going to be in right wing back because obviously number 1 has to be Frimpong. I am trying to keep it away from doing duplicates. For instance, Virgil van Dijk, Mbappe, Frimpong have got multiple versions that are incredible. So we will stick away from it. So 99 is definitely without a shadow number 1. I think up there is definitely number 2 or 3. I've got to pick Cafu. And then the arguments as well for Klaus is going to be another massive one. But as we go into right backs, you've got the likes of Kyle Walker. Then you've got the choice, because I believe that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you'd be looking between Carvajal, Anya, Jesus Navas, and then maybe Trent, Montiel. If I was going for it, I think Klaus has got to be there. I do like Carvajal, but I think he could have been better. I can't even actually click him from here. Damn it. So if we go and put Klaus in there, if it's going to let me put him in there we go. So then we go on to the final one. You've got Carvajal, Navas, you've got the brand new Correa, who I think has got the big shout. The only thing with the Carvajal, bruiser, whipped pass, block, he's more of your standard traditional right back, whereas like Navas is definitely the more overlapping, somebody to get in behind. Same as someone like Correa. It's the only thing that I don't like with him is the trickster plus, as much as Navas does have it as well. It's the only thing that separate maybe Reece James' potential away from them. But I think as I'm going for a number 5, I'd have to go with Navas. I absolutely love him in game. I think he works really well. If you're looking for coins to improve your team, head over to lootbar.gg for the most reliable and also the best coins around. Also, they have incredible 24-hour manual customer service that you physically cannot find anywhere else. But before finishing on lootbar.gg, make sure you are using JT11 to get 8% off coupon. Once you've gone through the payment, you'll be able to get your coins within the next 24 hours. Absolutely guaranteed. Also, with the code, you'll be able to get 5% more coins on every transaction. Make sure you do click the link either in the description or down in the comment section below. Then we move on to the left backs then. So this one is pretty much clear and cut, to be fair. I don't know if any of them are left wing backs. No, obviously Grimaldo, Lizarazu always have to be a shout, but it's quite an easy one. You've got Sakina, you've got Hernandez, you've got Capdevia, you've got Mendy, and I think that's number 4. Is that number 4? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Then number 5 would definitely be the option between Rolfo and Davies. As a solid left back, I actually prefer Davies, as much as Rolfo in the midfield is exceptional. Davies as a left back has just been far superior in my opinion, and he just absolutely works with it. So I think that one's quite the easy one. Sakina the 99, Teo definitely deserving of a 99, Capdevia with a massive upgrade, Ferland Mendy for the nostalgic vibes, and then Davies throwing himself in there. It's quite an easy one when it comes to them. Centre back wise, again, very similar, to be honest. You've got Van Dijk. You've obviously got Lucio as well. I think the 299s are always up there. You then throw in a bit of Rio Ferdinand. That one's quite an easy one. And then you've also got Saliba. The 5th choice has definitely got option. Renard, never a bad shout. Blanc is there. Vidic, even a 98 Bobby Moore. Konate is obviously up there. And I think when we kind of look through it, it's kind of the decision between somebody like Militao, I would say, has got definitely a big run in there. Company, Diaz, Carlos Alberto. I think for me, if I was going for it, I think Militao is just slightly edging it. slightly edging it, and it's not by much because Blanc is absolutely phenomenal. Vidic is a quality centre-back. There's so many options here. Even throw in an Alaba in the top end. Ruben Diaz you could throw in there. Even Bastoni, especially with some of the evolutions we've got. There's so much option, and that's not even without mentioning a Maldini, a Marquinhos, Carvajal, Carvalho, in fact, Rudiger. There's just loads. So I think for centre-backs, the first four write themselves, really. The 299s, obviously, especially Virgil. Rio has had a massive upgrade. And Saliba, I was hoping to potentially get a 99 footies, but that is yet to come yet. And then Militao is just one of them players. Then we throw in some CDMs. Now, this is definitely always up for question because whether you go at strategic, they have to be CDM on the base version, which doesn't necessarily work for everybody because personally one of my favourite CDMs only comes as a centre mid to start with, and that's got to be big boy Patrick Vieira. That's just an easy one, to be honest. Other CDMs within the centre mid niche, you could argue like Bentancur, kind of more box to box with all of the stats upgrading. You have got the likes of Grace. I think she's absolutely brilliant as a CDM. You could throw in not Oxlade, more box to box. A lot of them, the problem you've got is a lot of them have got incredible throughout stats. A lot of them hitting that Hullet gang sort of tactics. But I think if we go into the CDM, because that's where most of them are going to be, Conte, obviously, Camavinga, obviously. And then I think even Yaya Toure could throw him into the mix. Whether you'd consider Valverde a box-to-box or more of a DM, I personally would rate him more of a box-to-box at this point. The pace, decent play style pluses, even though there's technically no shooting ones. His pinged pass, jockey, anticipate, rapid. I would like him more of a box-to-box, and it suits the categories going into. Then in the final one, I would probably go, if you're kind of looking in the DMs, I'd personally go Rodri over Rice. I think the quadruple play style plus, the 4-star, 5-star at the minimum. But then I do like a bit of Tchouaméni. I think he's just got something in this game. And then I think the only other one that I would consider with him would potentially be Douglas Luiz. And again, more shooting than defending, but he is known as a technical DM more so than anything. So I think he just pips Rodri at this point, but I would go Tchouaméni as my number 5 in here. Which then leads us to the box-to-boxes, which I think is quite another simple one when it comes to midfield. I would have Valverde in it. I think he's just absolutely quality in the game. Then when it comes to centre mids, it gets very difficult to choose who you really want in there because you either go for the absolute 99s, like Putellas for me has to be in it. I think you do have to pick someone in this top category. For me, I personally prefer Fernandez over De Paul. I like De Paul, but I think the playstyle pluses do let him down that little bit. Like McAllister on the ball is absolutely incredible. You throw an anchor on him and genuinely the stats look just nuts. And this is without even showing a Hullet in there, without even showing somebody like Pedri and some of the cams that can play kind of centre mid. Picking some people that you wouldn't necessarily always see. Like if you go as a cam, for me, I think for a centre mid as well, the biggest option is Bellingham. It's an obvious choice. He's so good at that box-to-box role. I think them 5 would personally be my favourite 5 in a centre mid role. Which does take us into the cams as well, which again is just so many options. Like the first one's obviously got to be Pele. I don't think there's any question there. I personally like Musiala. I think Wirtz is quality there. And then I do think Odegaard. But then you've got the big choice for the final one. Like definitely Olmo is insane, but he's now in the competition of some of the big names, and whether it's the big names taking it over, because you got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Zidane, Palmer in this card, again, playstyle pluses do let him down a little bit. Xavi Simons, Goulet, Havertz, Dybala, even a Bobby Charlton in his great to the game. There is a lot of options going here. So I think if it was me and looking at it, I think it has to be Zidane. As much as I do like Kev, I think this year he's been slightly underwhelming, in my opinion anyway. Some people might absolutely love him still. But I think Pele, Musiala, Wirtz, Odegaard and also Zidane would be my top 5. Which does take us nicely into the left wing, which I think personally you don't really have too much question. You've got Neymar, you've got Ronaldinho, you've got Rivaldo, and then you've got the likes of Vini. Which leaves us with one spot, and I think he's already been taking it. it's got to be Sonny Baby now. As much as you had got quite a few of, I want to say, is it left mid? I want to say, who was it? It was Nico Williams. Ribery is a big shout. There was somebody else. Who is it? You've got Neymar, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Vinny. Who was the last one? I suppose Rashford would put himself up there, but I think at this point now you've got the likes of Swanson, you've got Gakpo, definitely not terrible. Diaz is obviously a great option. And then you've got Leao's great. I think Ansu, is he the right-hand side now, in fact? Is he the right-hand side? He's 98. Where is he? I'm pretty sure I've got him. Let's see if we've Spain and go special. Oh, he's 96. Oh, that was the version of him. So, I think that pretty much sorts itself out. You've obviously got to pick the Brazilians. I think there is no options with them. And then you've got the likes of Son as a 99. Again, 5'5", maxed out shooting stats. What's not to love about that card? It is an absolute icon in himself. And then we move on to the right-hand side. Definitely a little bit more clear-cut now. We've got some specials here. But it definitely wasn't a fair few days ago. I think easily Dembele, easily Hansen and Salah. And then you've kind of got the choices because you've got Jairzinho, which I personally prefer him over Best and Garrincha. He's just stole the show off them. And then that leaves us with one option, which Saka's obviously got to be a big shout. I've not really preferred Best this year. I think the rating is absolutely top draw, but he's not been my favourite. Garrincha, as much as I do like this card, I think the Finesse Shot Plus is a massive one for me, and that's missing out Rafinha, it's missing out the brand new Adama, who I think is great, Alwaran, obviously Barcola was an absolute icon during the Festival of Foot, but Saka is got to put himself up there, and I think as much as there's definitely a top 5 that are consistent with some of the best cards in the game, when you go further down, there's definitely less talent in comparison to a lot of your left-hand side. I think that's kind of consistent with a left-back and right-back theme as well, which leads us into the strikers. Now, I'll go through a few of them because literally this whole page could be them, because you've got the likes of Alex Morgan, incredible striker. You've got CR7, Messi, Ham, Ronaldo. I mean, there's far too many that you would obviously go for there. Haaland is a free card. Nunez still keeps on giving. You've got Drogba as a brand new card that I didn't see him think he was going to get one. Sammy Kerr's obviously there. Throwing in them names, unfortunately, I wouldn't put Jonathan David in there because we've not even talked about Ginola. We've not even looked at an Mbappe at this point yet. You've got Eto'o, you've got Dalglish, and even Smith up there as well. Werner, other Ronaldo, Mbappe, Haaland cards. Henry, who has been class this year. Incredible amounts. So, striker-wise, there's an abundance. Di Natale would be up there. You'd throw in, going a bit further down, Butras, obviously incredible. I've loved a bit of Griezmann, but for more the technical ability of him rather than anything. And then, obviously, we have got some centre-forwards because there is some huge ones this year. So you've obviously got the Eusebio. You've obviously got Cruyff, Pushkas, you've got the 5'5" Hullet that was just, I didn't even expect him to come out. Then to be fair, you could even throw in Nkunku. I don't think he's had the greatest season of his life in terms of FIFA, not actual real season, but this card does look very, very good. You then got Benzema, you've got Felix, Depay, you throw in another Cruyff, another Pushkas. Not so much Cantona this year, I think he's good, but it definitely doesn't come under that top level of what we have been seeing. So I think if I was to go for another one, I think Nkunku would finish this off. And like I said, striker-wise, there's so many options you can go for. It's absolutely unbelievable. And that would be my technical top 5 in each position. And strikers, just everybody.